This One's Wife. Coming to the Cotswolds. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. In case you're not familiar with what the Cotswolds is, it is what used to be known as an area of outstanding natural beauty, now known as a national landscape, in essentially southwestern England. You can see on the map the green area demonstrating the place that it occupies within England. Cotswold means sheep enclosure in rolling hillsides, cot being the enclosure, wold being a rolling hillside. It's a particularly picturesque place with many beautiful villages and gorgeous countryside. It does suffer in places from attracting too many tourists, particularly those that are getting the pictures for the gram, but it also is known for a place that has many individuals who are famous who have taken up residence there either as a first home or a second home. For instance, King Charles and Camilla have their property at Highgrove. Princess Anne lives at Gatcombe Park in Minchinhampton. There's plenty of famous people that live there. Kate Winslet, the actress. Sam Mendes, he also lives there. You have Rebecca Brooks, who was the former newspaper editor. Jeremy Clarkson, formerly of Top Gear and now of Clarkson's Farm. You have the actors Patrick Stewart and Ben Kingsley. Rory Bremner, the comedian. David and Victoria Beckham decided to move to the Cotswolds in 2021, coming back from the United States. Stella McCartney, the fashion designer, is there. You have Richard Hammond from Top Gear, Dom Joly, the comedian, Tony Adams, the former footballer, Gilly Cooper, the author. Zara Phillips and Mike Tyndall used to live nearby and in Cheltenham, and then they've moved to one of the properties at Gatcombe Estate. You've got Willie Carson, the former jockey, Sir Geoff Hurst, winner of the World Cup, Sue Barker, the former tennis player and television presenter, Ruby Wax, Keith Allen, the actor and comedian, his daughter, Lily Allen, Alex James, who used to be in Blur, Anne Robinson, the television presenter, Sharon Davis, the former swimmer, Sir James Dyson, inventor and industrialist, Michael McIntyre, supposed comedian, Emma Sams, the actress, Ben Miller, the actor, Amanda Holden, thirsting narcissist, Ellie Goulding, pop star James Blunt, musician, Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi, amongst many other names. And as a consequence, of course, of this influx of fame and money, this has resulted in many services being found in a part of the country that ordinarily you wouldn't expect to see there in terms of high-end provision of goods and services. And the suggestion is that they are to be joined by this one's wife and her ginger poodle. According to Radar Online, Prince Harry has privately declared his intentions to spend more time in the UK. He hopes to visit every few months from 2026 in a bid to solidify his relationship with his father, who is desperate to strike up a relationship with his grandchildren, Archie and Lilibet. It was suggested that Charles might even be willing to offer Harry and this one's wife their own residence in the UK, but its location will have to be significantly far away from warring sibling Prince William and Princess Catherine. An insider said there are plenty of empty properties on the estate. The royal family is not exactly short of accommodation at the moment, but I don't think being next door to William and Kate would go down too well. Pausing there, I think it unlikely that King Charles would offer them a property in light of their behaviours. And moreover, there remains the suggestion that they are in essence, or at least this one's wife, is banned from attending upon royal properties. No actual evidence has been provided in respect of this, and it is a repeated rumour that rears its head, which many people believe is why she doesn't come back to the United Kingdom. Harry is allowed, but she is not. That the suggestion is that she has been banned from attending upon any royal property, any royal residence, as a consequence of her behaviours, and that's why she won't come back to the United Kingdom. In the absence of any evidence that supports that, I think that it's rather unlikely, and much more likely is the fact, as I've made clear on a number of occasions, she regards the United Kingdom as a hostile place. She regards many of the people that live there as people that don't like her. She sees the royal family as hostile. She sees the British media as particularly hostile. And therefore, her narcissism, with its innate need for control, recognises that if she were to come to the United Kingdom, it would essentially be opening up the doors on repeated threats to control. And given that her narcissism is a self-defence mechanism, it seeks to avoid that happening. Therefore, she doesn't return. Quite simply, her narcissism is seeking to protect her, and the reasons for her non-attendance are linked to the perception of the level of hostility that she believes that she will receive. Clearly, she is unpopular, and therefore, while she doesn't accept that that's legitimate, she knows that it's the case, and her narcissism's way of dealing with it is to keep her in that position of withdrawal, because that's one of the three assertions of control that the narcissist could use. Thus, that's why it's more likely, the reason why she stays away. However, Radar Online explains that apparently this one's wife would favour living in the celebrity favourite region of the Cotswolds, home to Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi, as I just mentioned, and potentially soon-to-be inhabitants Jay-Z and Beyonce. She spent time in the countryside area when she first got engaged to Harry, and one of those insiders again states, "I'd say the Cotswolds would be somewhere they might look if they were thinking about a home outside the royal estate." Harry would love to come back to the UK more. His plans are driven by the causes that he supports. If they say we'd really like you to come over, he will try to make it work. It's driven by the requests. He would love to do as much as possible. And this one's wife doesn't want to go to a royal residence, apparently, according to this, that she would only consider the celeb-heavy Cotswolds. Now, at first blush, that would seem to make sense, wouldn't it? Because after all, she's more celebrity than royal. She believes that those people are her people, the famous, the successful, the wealthy. She's certainly infamous. She's not successful in the truest sense. She only achieved the wealth and infamy as a consequence of the man that she married. She does have some wealth, but it's dwindling. But the fact is, a narcissist such as her, with her sense of entitlement, believes that in the same way she thought that she belonged within the enclave of Monty Shit Show, that she would similarly belong in the Cotswolds. That it's her kind of people, a beautiful, picturesque area populated by celebrities, and therefore it's a place where she ought to be also. The fact that she could claim to live there by moving to an address there and being associated with all of those names that I've mentioned previously is part of the character trait acquisition. Whether she would do so as a consequence of the risk factor of the remaining unpopularity and hostility from the British media, well, that's another thing. But there's also another fly in the ointment for this one's wife. Apparently, back in 2019, it was made perfectly clear that she wasn't welcomed there, that she's been blackballed from Soho House, which has an outpost in the Cotswolds, and that many of the celebrities, for instance, Jeremy Clarkson, who made his thoughts very clear about this one's wife in a newspaper article, and others simply don't want the Prince of Pink Pancake and his handler in the area. And whilst they are discreet about their opposition, it is well known that they are simply not welcome in the area, that the behaviour of the gruesome twosome and the circus that would accompany them means that many people would regard them as unwelcome. The fact is, in the Cotswolds, many famous and successful people live there, but they do so quietly. The less famous individuals that live there don't harangue them, don't cause a song and dance about their presence. The famous that live there similarly embrace the tranquility of the area, not ensuring that there's lots of paparazzi wandering around or that they're being seen when they go to a local restaurant, etc. They want to live there because they want to live their lives out of the public eye. They'll do the public stuff when they go to film premieres or book signings or when they're doing promotional tours. But they live in the Cotswolds because they want the privacy. We all know that when it comes to this one's wife and Harry, they preach about privacy, but they don't actually want it. And if they were to move to the Cotswolds, the perception is that they would bring a circus with them, and therefore they're thoroughly unwelcome. It seems to me that it is highly unlikely that they would move to the Cotswolds. Whilst in principle this one's wife would deem it an attractive thing to do because of the reputation and the people that live there, the fact is that the issues of hostility still remain. Not only would she be exposing herself to potential hostility from the UK population as a whole and the media, but moreover, it has been made clear, and in no uncertain terms, that the people that live there, particularly the famous ones, don't want Harry and her attending. Those doors that were once open to them have been very firmly closed with regard to any kind of welcome that they could expect from the Cotswolds. Once again, the collateral consequences generated by her narcissism. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.